everyone. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Stassi. Thank you so much for being here today. I have the amazing The Mom Cave here, and I'm so excited that I get to sit down and talk to her and get a little bit more about you. So thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be taking some time to just talk together. I think we do a lot of work together, but I'm excited to talk together.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited. I finally get to put a face to the name. I honestly, I did not like, you are gorgeous.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I wasn't sure what to expect because all of these, I don't usually have ever talked to the person beforehand. I kind of just go in winging it. But I was because you're in southwestern part of the States, right?
I'm actually on the West Coast.
Sorry, you're West Coast. Oh yes. My God. I meant to say West Coast. I was literally thinking G-Eazy's West Coast, and I don't know why I said South Coast. Please excuse this.
Now, please be my theme song.
Oh my God. Do you like G-Eazy? Is that a rite of passage of being in California that you have?
Honestly,
I
have never heard of them before because I'm a boomer and I'm old. So
yeah, G-Eazy.
Please play that. Oh, sorry. My eyes are tearing up already and I'm laughing.
Oh, you'll get ready for lots of laughing. So I love G-Eazy. He's one of my favorite rappers. So he's from California. All his songs are driving down the PCH and all this stuff. And the thing is so I live in Canada and he has a criminal conviction, so he can't come into Canada. So I'm just G-Eazy, why'd you have to get arrested for possession of cocaine in Switzerland? Okay. Because you did that. I mean, that's a rapper's stance right there. Being arrested in Switzerland for possession of cocaine. I feel that's just a rite of passage at this point when you're a rapper. So I was just G-Eazy. Yes. But no.
Well, I've never been to Switzerland. I've never been arrested. I've never done cocaine, so I can't relate to any of that.
No, I don't know if I can relate to Gerald either.
Yeah, no, that's super funny. But thank you. Yeah, I live on the West Coast out here, and I just born and bred here. So.
Can we switch spots? So I've been out to the West Coast more times than I can count. I used to work for a company. They used to fly me out there all the time because I was their graphic designer. I know the flight to Toronto to LAX like the back of my hand. I've done that more times than I can count. I actually don't like LAX. Do you like LAX?
I don't want to get hate, but Southern California just isn't my jam. A lot of people love it. My son spends a lot of time down there. He's a digital cinematographer.
Oh, wow.
He travels all over the place and has a huge job that he's working on down there. So he's kind of living there and kind of living here right now, but he loves it. And that's fine. I know a lot of people I'm just not a big city person. Where I live is this kind of, I wouldn't say it's not small. The population here is growing, but I live in a part of California where I'm literally, if you were to take a pin and put it in the middle, that's right by my house. If you were to drop a pin in the middle on the map. And it's nice because I'm probably except for way Southern California, that's a little bit further, but I'm about 4 hours away from pretty much anywhere you want to go here, which is kind of nice.
Okay.
And we've lived in this area it'll be going on 22 years. So,
wow.
I've lived here for quite some time, not quite most of my life, because maybe in about 10 years it'll be most of my life, but yeah, it's nice here.
Oh, I'm jealous. I know you're up. Are you more north then?
No, I'm right in the middle.
Okay.
Smack in the middle. Yeah.
I'll take smack in the middle of California versus snow to your eyeballs in Ontario.
Yeah, I don't. We're a good when it snows. Now, where we live, it does snow, but it snows about, depending on how low it drops, usually between 30 minutes to an hour from us. My daughter and her family own it. They live up north in Washington, right now. They own, but they still have a house kind of up in the mountains about 45 minutes away, and it snows up there. So it's kind of nice. If I want to go to the snow, I can, but I don't like snow. Give me sunshine and the beach. I'm happy. I don't like snow.
Oh my gosh. Can I tell you something crazy? I had to shovel the other day already. It snowed that much.
No, it's enough for me.
I walked out and I was like, really? It was 3 days ago. Really? But anyways, let's start this off. I definitely want to hear a little bit about your simming history.
Yeah. So well, first of all, I played The Sims like in 2000 or whenever the first one came out. My kids were young. They were little at the time, probably, I don't know what, probably 6 or maybe like 7 and 10 or maybe younger. I don't know. They were young.
Yep.
And we were actually a homeschool family. They turned out perfectly normal. So don't worry. I'm not, scratch that. Homeschoolers are great. People have been homeschooling. Please don't post that. Anyways, back up, rewind. We were a homeschool family by choice. I know a lot of people have had to do that. And so I commend them because I know how hard it is. But anyways, we were a homeschooling family. And that's what we would do in our free time is they were playing this game, The Sims. And it was the funniest thing because my son was this kind of skinny little thing. And I don't know if you remember the animation. There was an animation where like the little kid was going to go into bed in his jammies and he'd jump up with his hands in the air.
Yes.
And my son would do that in his like footy pajamas. And I will never forget. That was the funniest thing. Anyways, but that was it. Like, oh, where'd you go? There we go. That was it. And then, my life was raising kids, having a family, career, got my degree late. I was 40 when I graduated with my master's. And so just, and like I said, school the kids pretty much all the way through. We had it worked for our family. We had a lot of fun with it. And then they graduated, moved on to their careers and their lives. And I moved into my career and my life, and my husband and I kind of settled in. So here I was coming up on a significant birthday. Can I say how old I am on?
Of course you can.
I don't care. I was coming up on my 50th birthday, and like I felt like, well, my bucket list is kind of empty. I mean, I traveled where I wanted to travel. I mean, it's fortunate, it's definitely privilege. And so I acknowledge that. And it was there, and I had got my degree and all these things. I raised my kids. I did all these things. I'm like, I don't have any more career goals because I have my dream job, and here we are in this pandemic, and so I don't know what to do. And I had started playing The Sims, because of bad mental health.
Okay.
The position I was in prior to what I do now was really hard. So I worked in hospice for years. That's out of grad school, I became a grief counselor, and end of life. And all of that was my specialty, but I specialized in grief and resilience in my studies, and then in my practice after that, because it's just a great place to be able to be with people. And there's this transformation that happens, but that's a podcast for another day. Anyways, but so I got into hospice, and I loved hospice. I worked in there and had kind of worked into this high level position at a local hospice. And it was okay. I mean, it was great learning. I believe everything in life is a learning opportunity, and that kind of helps with regret, right? And so I had this great learning opportunity, but it was hard, and it got harder, and the atmosphere wasn't good, and some other things just in my personal life started bubbling up that I hadn't dealt with, and I just kind of hit this rock bottom in my mental health. And I was away at the coast, just some time off. And I was hunkering down in my little room downstairs in this, my daughter-in-law's family has a beach house that we could rent. And so I was just hunkering down there. It's kind of a long story, so cut out whatever you want. I was hunkering down there, and I was like, I just need a distraction. I had watched YouTube, like just dumb stuff here and there. I hadn't really watched it. And so I got on YouTube, and BuzzFeed popped up, like, okay, whatever. And and Kelsey and Peachy Cake. Like, what is she doing? And so I'm like, 100 babies, what the heck? And I was just like, it was more kind of like a bad train wreck. Like, what is this? And I started watching it, and I like got sucked in, and I got like hooked. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is super funny. And I don't know, I just got really engaged in the story. And I told my daughter-in-law about it. And I had started watching Sims stuff on YouTube. And my daughter-in-law was like, why don't you just buy the game, Mom? Yeah. I'm like, I never thought about that. I had it on mobile. I'm like, sure. So I bought it. It was fun. I was hooked. So I started building. I had my first Sims family, the Slater West family. You want to remember that name because it's my Sims universe is all connected. I don't know. I don't know. I just connected. It was like the best distraction for me. It was a positive distraction, right? So yeah, it's just when we get in those places, having a positive distraction can be really helpful as long as it doesn't become addiction. Depends on who you ask for whether it is or not. I don't want to talk about it. But so I started playing. So that was about, I guess, going on 3 years now. I don't know. I've kind of lost track of time at this point.
It's been over 3 years, especially with Kelsey and Peach K, because
I guess so, huh?
Thank you so much for sharing that. I always like talking to people, like when it comes to like Sims histories, like we're all very different. I grew up with it as a kid where you're older. Honestly, I didn't think you were 50. I thought you were like 35. You look great.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. You're very welcome. So I was a lifetime simmer. I started in the original Sims. I worked my way up. I didn't really play Sims 3 a lot. I remember because Kelsey's Peach K came out December. And I was in a really dark place for my job. I really hated my job, but it was paying the bills. And unfortunately, that's what you have to do, right? When you're an adult, you got to pay the bills. So I remember looking at this. I was like, the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Like, what's the 100 baby challenge?
Right.
So there were 2 episodes out. So I had watched them and I was like, I guess you could have 100 babies in this. I never thought of it like that. So then Kelsey and Peach K became a staple in my house every Saturday, and my best friend every Saturday. I mean, R.I.P. to Olive. Rest in peace.
Did you cry? I cried.
I cried. I mean, I cried when Chelsea died, and I cried
when Chelsea died. I cried. Actual sobbing tears. It was like, what?
You became so invested. And that's why Kelsey is so good at storytelling, because you became invested in these Sims, right? Okay. So it was Chelsea, Casey, and Kelly. Who was your favorite matriarch?
Chelsea, hands down. Chelsea, hands down. And I actually, in my family, my Sims family at the time, when we got to that point, when she died, actually named the next, because they have like 8 kids. Yeah. My Sims all have a lot of kids, but, and their youngest child, I named her Chelsea after her, in honor of Chelsea and Peach K. Okay. Because rip Chelsea, I cried. I was like,
I cried. Oh
I'm
my
so
God.
glad I'm not the only one.
Oh my God, no. I cried when Harry died because I didn't expect Harry to die.
No, neither did I.
He was about to have his birthday and like,
hello?
Can you hear me?
Oh, okay.
Okay, perfect. We're back. Okay. I was just like, Harry died.
Oh my gosh. When he drowned, I know.
When he drowned, I did. Yeah.
It was awful.
Also, spoilers to anybody who's not watched the 100. I feel like you have.
A long time past.
It has been a long time past. Honestly, I still have to call it spoilers anytime I say anything Game of Thrones. There's like, Stassi, spoilers. I'm like, there are books, and this has been over for 3 years. Okay,
exactly. If you haven't watched it by now, it's a you problem. I'm like, for my series, I'm going to say spoilers if it's been a week.
Yeah.
So you should have watched by now. I'm just kidding.
Oh, I agree 100%. Anything for Rose Chronicles for me, like you got a week and then I will spoil the shit out of it. I'm
like,
breed it. But anyways.
Yeah. So sorry. So I started watching that and then I thought, let me try it. So I had my first 100 baby game. I had my gameplay, my family, my Slitterwest family, who I love. I actually have a memorial building I built for them. Yes, I do. And that's fine. So I had them. And then I was like, let me try this 100 baby challenge. So I had my first challenge I just played on my own and took all of those families and my first matriarch actually, when her to-be husband, which was her butler turned boyfriend, proposed to her. I had this cute little proposal in the restaurant. Oh. And then on the doorstep, they got home and I was like, why isn't he going in the house? He died right there. I was like, oh my God, what just happened? So I resurrected him, moved them all into my main save. And then I started another 100 baby, which I'll talk about later when we talk about my channel. Yeah, but that's how I started playing The Sims. And I still have my main game save. I have it saved in 15 different places because it's the heart and soul of the mom cave. And if we talk about my series later, I'll talk about how I've integrated actually the descendants of my first Sims into my series.
Oh, don't worry. We're definitely going to talk about your series. So I also thought I could do the 100 baby challenge. Guess how many babies I had before I gave up? Take a guess. Shot in the dark.
10.
2.
You were like, no.
I also I had 2 because like this was before I knew how to build. So I just built this giant box house. It had a ton of windows. And I just made my Sims really wealthy. So like, I know that's not how you're supposed to do it. I was just like modified 100 baby challenge rules.
Exactly.
So I was like, I had 1 toddler and I was like, nope, I need a nanny. So then I'm like, I'm breaking the rules. I'm like, you know what? We're modifying this. I got to 2 kids, 2 toddlers, and I was trying to teach them. I'm like, this is not for me. This is not, I will confidently say this. Like I was saying this, I interviewed Milo Farmer not that long ago, and he is a builder. And we were talking about like, I've actually never played any of the pre-existing Sims like storylines. I've never gone into that. I've only ever created my own. Have you ever played like Bella Goth or any of the land grabs?
So I actually wrote a challenge called the Land Grab Challenge.
Okay.
And that's how I started my channel. So I started my channel. Here I was at my 50th birthday, coming up on that. Like, so I'd been watching YouTube, and then I started watching Claire Siobhan. I was doing my 100 baby challenge, all of these things. I was on Facebook groups, and I loved building. I actually started out as a builder. Okay. And loved building. It's how I would do stress relief. And so I thought, well, these speed builds, I'd watch a lot of speed builds just to kind of relax my brain. I loved it. So I'd watch them before I'd go to bed. And so I thought, hey, I'll do one of those speed builds. So I did. I started my channel on my 50th birthday. I was like, okay, listen, I'm going to start a YouTube channel. My family was like, what? Yeah. What are you going to do? I'm going to play The Sims. Or like, what? You're going to do what? I'm like, just listen, I got nothing else to do. So I need a microphone. I need this. That's what I want for my birthday. But at this point in my life, this isn't the first just way out of the box, wild, harebrained idea I've ever had. So they're like, okay, here goes mom again. And I did. They got me a Yeti mic, and my mom's like, this is what you said you wanted. So I don't know what you're doing. She still responds that way. She still thinks I've lost my rocker, but whatever.
No matter how old your moms are, my mom thinks the same thing.
Oh, yeah, she's like, I don't understand this. I said, that's fine. You don't have to.
Yeah.
Doing it. So anyway, so I started my channel as a builder, and I was doing my 100 baby challenge. And that's how my channel started. Was I have 1 speed build, but I had written a challenge called the Land Grab Challenge. Because I thought, I love building and I love challenges. So what if there was a building challenge? And I thought, you know what? What if the challenge was to take over the land grabs, because they own everything? So you start out as rags to riches. There's all kinds of rules. Yeah. And so I have 1 video where I started my land grab challenge. It's super cringe, but I still have it up there. But that was it. That's all I posted. I was like, I hate this. I hate LPs. This is a pain. I don't like doing this. So later on Twitch, I actually picked up that challenge again and played it on Twitch. It turned into kind of a collab with Viking Sims, and we ended up completing it. But yeah, so I wrote the land grab challenge. But other than that, I haven't played any of the lore. I've created my own lore. So I play on that.
No, I like that. And I think creating your own lore, I think this is an awesome segue to get into your Machinimas. So yes, I want you to explain to everybody what your Machinimas are and what inspired you to create them.
Yeah, that is a great question. So as so here I was with this, I think 2, maybe 3. I don't even know if I uploaded the second episode. It might have been 2 video channel. I might have had maybe 3 subs. Probably 1 was me. Probably 1 was my daughter, and probably 1 was some obscure person who was like, okay, whatever. I'm just going to hit sub because it told me to. So here I was with this channel. So I was playing my 100 baby challenge, the second one that I had started. And I was in a Facebook group. So I was in a Facebook group for 100 baby challenge. I'm like, oh, this is so boring. Like, I want to talk to people. My family's sick of talking about it. So I was like, well, maybe Facebook. That was before I got away from Facebook, which I did a while ago. And before I got onto Twitter. And I wanted to tell the story of who Amelia married. And I wanted to tell it in a creative way because people were posting all that. So we would post in there and share our stories. And I thought, I'm going to create something. So I watched Kelsey and Peach Kate. And then the next person who inspired me is Claire Siobhan. I love Claire Siobhan. She is, what I love the most about hers is that she's transparent. She's just lovely. I want to meet her someday. That's like on my bucket list because I want to say face to face, thank you for being so open and honest with your community about your mental health.
Yeah.
I love her and her storytelling, and she's funny. And I aspire to be, like her. I don't judge myself against her, but she's just so inspirational. So she did this series called My Story. And there were little machinimas that she did. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so good. And I was so captivated by it and loved it so much. So I thought, gosh, I could do this with my Hunter baby. I mean, I don't know how to do it. So I was watching some other just complete, I really don't like to say this about machinimas because no matter how simple your machinima is, it's hard, but just some very lower effort machinimas. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
But I watched them. I mean, I would just watch things. I was like, okay, listen, if people can watch, people watch this and people watch this, there's like all this whole gamut of people that watch.
Oh yeah.
So why not? So I thought I'd make one to tell the story of Amelia. And then I sat down and thought, well, how am I going to make a story out of having 100 children? So I sat down and I thought, why would somebody have 100 children? What if she was cursed? Mm-hmm. Why would you be cursed? Oh, what if there was this witch? And I'm not going to spoil it because maybe people will watch. But so I sat for weeks, and this little story about, okay, Amelia chose this person because I did this whole thing in my own game where I had Amelia choose. I left the game running, total autonomy, all the mods, and she chose the same person 3 times, and they chose her. The same person chose her 3 times.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, cool. So that's who she ended up with. And I was very excited. And so I thought, okay, I need to tell this story. But I sat down and I wrote this whole story out all the way to a certain point. And then I wrote the finale because I knew what the finale was going to be. And then I got on Epidemic Sound. I had all the music and I sat down and I filmed my first machinima. And I mean, my family for weeks is like, what are you doing? I'm writing a story about what? About this chick who had 100 kids. They're like, oh my God. Okay. Yeah. So just leave me alone. It's fine. So they've been really supportive. They're kind of over at this point, but I mean, they still support me. They're fine. They didn't think I'd take it this far, but they should know me by now. But so here I was, I wrote this story. I posted my first one and then I posted my second one. And then I got on Twitter and I started engaging with people and talking to people and sharing my video. And then I started to get some views. And then I started to make friends. And then people were just commenting on my video. And I'm, you're not one of the 4 people in my life that are forced to watch this. So who are you? I was shocked. And that's how it started. And this whole community started forming. And that's what inspired me to make Machinimas was the curse. So I wrote the curse. Mm-hmm. I knew how it was going to end. And what I love about season 1 of the curse is if I watch it, I've actually started watching the whole series again because it is going to be remastered. But I was watching it and I was like, and this is for all of the creators out there, never delete your first posts. Don't delete them. If you want to hide them, that's fine, but don't delete them because you're going to see how far you've come and how much you've learned. And it's just so cool to watch that. And so I was watching it last night and I'm like, okay, listen, this is cringe, but how far have I come? But it became this whole thing and the story unfolded and people were getting engaged. And then we get to the end of it and my community was like, so season 2, right? And I'm like, well, what happened was I wrote this story that was supposed to end. I didn't have a season 2. So as that started unfolding and happening, I started to build in characters so that I could branch out into the next machinima, which is Foxbury. Yep. And I think one of the things I didn't communicate well is that Foxbury actually comes after the curse and before season 2. And so I'm trying to market it a little bit differently now. So I wrote Foxbury. And in Foxbury, it takes the story of the curse. It takes two of Amelia's children and a couple of her other children who go to university.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the lens through them. But what that's doing is it's building up to two series. One is season 2, The Crown, which I'm really excited about because I've always had royalty in my game. And so I'm excited to bring all of that into my Machinimas. And so I brought all of that into season 2, The Crown, and part of it is flowing into that. And then the other part is flowing into a new series called Kings of Industry, which I'm super, super excited. Like, I have so much in my brain right now that I can't wait to film it. I had to pace myself. Both are scripted series or subtitled series, which I'll always do. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm currently working on right now. So we did, and then Foxbury. Foxbury was fun. So Foxbury was supposed to be a mini series. I was like, I'll do just a quick mini series because I need to take a break. Well, this is how I take a break, because I write a new series. And so I started, and people were really liking it. And I was like, there's a lot of story here. So I made it a full, after about, I think episode 5, I turned it into a full series. Mm-hmm. And I had so much fun with Foxbury. I would say so far, Foxbury has been, of my subtitled series, I really, really loved it. I'm starting to love season 2 of The Curse now that it's starting to unfold, mm-hmm. but it usually takes about 5 or 6 episodes for me to really kind of get into the story and know what I'm going to do. I have friends who I can consult with, which is nice. And then I'm excited for that. But then on another break, well, actually, let me back up. So I've always been doing up until now, I've been doing the subtitled series. I love subtitled series. I think that it's like a visual storybook, and then you bring in the music. There's just a lot of emotion and a lot of imagination for the viewer that can come into it. Mm-hmm. But also there's a lot of benefit to voice series as well. And I had never done that. And in fact, hadn't really watched a few, mm-hmm. and was intimidated by it. Like, so I actually started thinking about Poseidon when somebody in the community who was watching, I didn't never underestimate who's watching that you don't know. This person reached out to me, who's part of this whole other group of Machinima, not even Sims related, and said, hey, have you ever considered making a voice Machinima? Because I really like your content. And I think you do really good. And I was like, well, no, I don't really do it, but I'll give it a try, because it felt like a challenge, and, I'm always up for a challenge. And so I was talking to my son-in-law about it. I was like, I don't know what to do. And he's like, you should do something, I don't know, like for mythology, like Poseidon or somebody. And I went, yes. And so he and I just sat, he and I have these nerdy conversations together all the time. I love him with my whole heart. And my daughter's like, oh my God, I'm walking away. So he helped me think of the concept of it. And that's how Poseidon was born. Now Poseidon's going to come out in December. I actually am working with Oak Sim Studios on that because I needed help writing it.
Okay.
Because I had the plot, but how to get there, I was a little stuck.
Yeah.
Voice series. So I've been working on that. I got my voice talent together. I have some phenomenal talent. That other person really kind of helped me do that, showed me how to do that. So that was nice. I appreciate them a lot for that.
Yeah.
And then on another break, I was playing my game. Mm-hmm. And my sim picked up Crisis Barn, or no, they picked up a book, and I was like, I've never read the descriptions. So I read the description, like, these are really funny. What if I made just a complete low effort trash machinima just for the fun, just for shits?
Yeah, just for shits and giggles. Yeah.
Right. So that's when Storytime with Mom was born. I thought, why not make it a voice machinima? Well, of course, it's not. I didn't go the route I was going to, and actually put a lot of effort into it because I just couldn't. I got some great voice. I called on a couple of the voice actors that were in Poseidon and say, hey, do you want to help me with this project? Mm-hmm. Got some people on board. And my very first voice machinima is, will the real Bella Goth please stand up? It is cringe in some parts. And it was so much fun to make. And then I just launched Crisis Barn. So when that was actually going to be my next one anyways. And then the new pack came out. And I was like, oh my God, this is perfect.
Yeah. And
then I got these voices that were like, I don't know where y'all are coming from, Pixar or something. And I have to say, that Machinima, Crisis Barn is probably the most fun making Machinima I've ever had. The most fun, because I don't know, I think it's really meaningful to me because, first of all, it happened during a time when things just over, the last couple of months, things got a little chaotic really fast in my world, personally, professionally, and in the community.
Yep.
And then I ended up with unexpected health issues and surgery. Things just unraveled and got really crazy really fast. And it still happened, and it happened, and it was great. And so it's real special to me. So I that's what I did, but that's what has inspired me with my Machinimas. So we have now on my channel, we're season 2 of Curse is alive and well. Kings of Industry, I'll start filming that. I wanted to have that come out in the fall, but I'm going to have to push it to next year because I want to get Poseidon out first and still work on this other one. I need to focus. And my hope for Poseidon, I'd like to premiere the first. It'll be a 3-part full feature film because it's too big to do one full feature film. And I'm hoping to premiere part 1 on New Year's Eve. That's my goal.
Oh my gosh, that's soon. It
is soon. I know, I'm a little stressed, but I have all the voices. I just have to film and edit. So that's ready to go. And then I have to write the next scripts. But then Kings of Industry will come after the first of the year. And then next year I have some other series in what I call the Curse universe. It's all connected. So all of my Machinima are connected. And I even brought in characters from my Slater West family are now superstars in my series. So Conrad, the beloved Conrad in my series, is a descendant of the Slater West family. Queen Sophia is the daughter of the Slater West family. Wyatt and his family, they're descendants of the Slater West family. So I'm starting to integrate them all into that universe as well. So that's kind of a long answer to a short question, but it's really been a lot over the last couple years now. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. No, that's amazing. I didn't know what a Machinima was until May of this year. Yeah. I had no idea. I didn't even know that was a thing. I was starting to blow up a little bit on Instagram. So I was invited to go to a Twitch stream and just kind of like, I was being interviewed and I was sitting there with somebody else who was doing a Machinima, and she was there to plug in her Machinima for over an hour. And I was just like, what is a Machinima? Like, what is this? And then I Googled and it changed my life. I love Machinimas. I love them. Now I'm going to say something that I really like voice Machinimas. And the reason behind it is I am dyslexic.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to read anything on screen. And if I'm able to read it, to understand to what I'm trying to read. Where I like voices, so it's being spoken to me, so then I don't have to focus so hard on reading what I'm trying to say and not like try to miss out. Like it's just there, right, and I can just fully pay attention to it. I have checked out a lot of your Machinimas and they are all amazing. I remember you posted on Instagram like a couple weeks, maybe like a month ago. You're like, I got to 500 subscribers. I thought I was going to get to 3. I got you. I remember the first couple of times that somebody commented on my stuff, I was just like, you're not a family member or my best friend. So like,
you people actually watch this?
Yeah, you people actually, you like this?
Are you okay?
Yeah. See, I think you're a girl after my own heart, because from what I'm gathering, it sounds like you don't sleep. And I don't sleep either. What's sleep?
I'll sleep when I'm dead.
Oh my God. I say that all the time. I'll sleep when I'm dead. It's fine. No, that's amazing. You're obviously running the Machinima Magazine, but this is now where our paths have now crossed.
Yeah.
How did you get to the Simsdap magazine? And then how did it get to being its own Machinima Magazine? Like, what was the road to that?
Yeah, great question. So first of all, when I'm remastering the Curse, the entire universe of the Curse. So every Machinima I make that's subtitled, will eventually over time be remastered into voice. So I have both. So season 1 of The Curse is current. I'm actually going to be announcing that today on Humans of the Sims. I'm working with Menser Entertainment, and they are helping me remaster the series. And I love them. They have been, I shout out to Menser Entertainment, Lady Rios, Lewis, all of them. I have to say, when I have some really good friends, and when you have friends that see you and reach out and say, hey, I'm noticing this. And you're like, I've been feeling that. I just didn't say it. It's, I don't want to cry, but they've been, I have no words to how much I love them. Anyways, I'm not going to get mushy. I just did. So they're helping me remaster The Curse as a voice machinima, and that'll be coming out next year as well. So those who don't watch, because some people don't watch the scripted, like Lewis has never watched it. I'm like, buddy, you got to watch it because you're helping me make it. So he's like, I don't want to. I said, well, have somebody read it to you. I don't know. Figure it out. But yeah, not everybody is into that. And that's fine. So I want to have a variety. So Machinima Magazine. Last year, I'm going to back up to when I started Twitter. Sammy, who you've interviewed, Sim Simmerly, and she was one of my first friends on Twitter. She and I started on Twitter at the same time. She was one of my very first friends there. And I remember when she said, hey, we don't have a magazine for The Sims, because we didn't, there was not a Sims magazine. There's a couple now, but there weren't at the time. And she's like, what if we made one? And I was like, yeah, girl, let's do it. And so she and a couple others started this magazine. And I just remembered when their first issue, and when they started, and cheering them on, and just really excited about watching my friends grow this thing really quickly. That was amazing. And just being really proud, and kind of that, like, I'm not going to brag, but that's my friend over there, and she's killing it. So.
Oh my God. Take a minute. Sammy is amazing.
Sammy's
absolutely
wonderful.
amazing.
I love
so
Sammy.
wonderful. I love her too.
She's fab. Anyway, so another couple creators were working for the magazine at the time, and they did an interview with me. And actually, it's funny. I'm excited to be interviewed because I interview a lot of people, but I think I can count on one hand. I think this is the third interview that I've had in the time I've done this. So, which is cool.
It's cool.
Maybe fourth, I don't know. But anyway, so they did this fun interview thing with me, and I don't remember if Sammy approached me or I approached Sammy, but I said, listen, we don't have anything for Machinimas in the community. Nobody's everybody. We're highlighting builders, which don't get me wrong. Builders are incredible. I mean, I love our builders. We do a lot of casts, we do a lot of CC, we do all of this stuff, but we don't talk about this cinematic masterpieces that people are spending literally, I think it's like 1 to 2 hours of work or more, sometimes more, for 1 minute of finished footage. And people are putting this out, and we're not talking about it. EA doesn't focus on it. They never talked about Machinimators ever.
No.
And she said, okay, you want to do it? And I was like, sure, why not? I said, the other thing, actually, I think the first thing was, I think we need something for mental health. I think that's what started it.
Yes.
Because I said, I'm wondering if we need something for mental health in this community, because I'm getting a lot of DMs. There's just a lot of people struggling with grief and stress and things like that. I'm a mental health coach. I'm trained in that. I just, what if I wrote an article? She's like, come on board. I'm like, okay. So, and then I said the thing about Machinimas too. She's like, you want to write both? I'm like, sure, why not? At the time it made sense. Now it's like, oh my God, what did I do? So I started an article called Building a Better Life with the Mom Cave.
Okay.
And it started where there was like a forum where people could do anonymous questions. I got a couple questions, but then, that was it. I think people are a little hesitant to really tap into those painful places, which I totally get. Yep. So I started writing Building a Better Life with the Mom Cave. And then I've also streamed it a little bit on Twitch. I'd like to do more, but I just don't have time. And then I started Machinima Life, little hashtag Machinima Life, where I would highlight Director of Pixels. And and highlight somebody in the community to just shout out their machinima. What it was never and will never be is me highlighting my own content. That's not what I wanted to happen. And so it's always been, who in the community can I look at? And so I was looking at people who, first and foremost, they weren't getting a lot of visibility.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, well, let's give you some visibility. Let's do that. And so I would either bring them in Director of Pixels or that. So I had these two things that I would bring people in, and just kind of reach out to people and say, hey, do you want to be in this? And it was wonderful. So as that started to kind of expand, and Sammy started to expand the Simmed magazine, and started now the Style magazine, and the Sup and Media magazine, just the Sup and Media,
just Sup and Media in whole. Yeah.
She reached out to me and she's like, can we do a Zoom call? I'm like, why? Yes. And so I got on there and she said, hey, I have this idea and you're the only person I want to give this to. And I was like, I don't know. I'm already kind of stressed because everything else. And so she talked me into it, but no, we talked about it. We kind of made a game plan. The first issue was around the same time where everything was falling apart. We had these big plans for the first issue, and then some things unraveled unexpectedly. And I was really disappointed with some people in it. And the fact that the first issue even happened was a miracle in of itself. I mean, everything, my grandson was born. I was visiting my daughter, helping her with this newborn. I was working. I was dealing with all this other stuff going on, and then my health and all of this, but it happened. Like it is, again, it's the first issue. It was cringe, but it happened. And the goal of Machinima Magazine is and will always be, and that's why I posted in there our mission and values in our chat, because I think we have to operate out of that, or else I'm not going to do it. But the whole purpose of Machinima Magazine, we're now able to, I had this article and this little article. Now we have this whole magazine where we can highlight everybody that we can get our hands on. It's not all the time. We'll do the best we can. It's, we're only, we're only single people, but we can highlight voice talent. We can highlight script writers. We can highlight voice machinima. We can highlight subtitle machinima. We can highlight NSFW machinima. We can highlight that. We can't now, because of our audience, because of our advertising, and just some contracts and things like that, we had to be careful of what we put in the actual magazine. But we can highlight everybody. We can bring in storytellers from Instagram, which, we'll be changing to just storytellers in general, because there's storytellers everywhere. You're one of them. The Instagram story of the month. We still have Director of Pickles. Director of Pickles?
Director of Pickles. Is it Rick Sanchez?
Pickles, yeah. We were able to highlight new series that are coming out. So we have the new on the scene. We have these new people who are coming. They maybe have one or no episodes. It's like, but I haven't published anything. It's like, are you a machinimator? Yeah. Okay. You're new on the scene. Let's do it. Because new people coming in, it's so hard to feel like you're wedging your way in, and you see people who are getting a lot of attention. And I think those of us who are fortunate to get that attention, if we see somebody, let's bring them in and say, hey, look at this person. Look who I discovered. That's been really important to me. So people like Miss Cat T. I mean, she's amazing. She's amazing. She and I are in the DMs all the time. We became friends, but her content's amazing. And she was new, and it's like, let's show people what you're doing. Let's bring you in. And City of Angels and other people who came in after us, because we were all new at one time. So we're able to do that. I'd like to have some other things, like connecting voice talent with directors. You and I are going to be talking. You and I speaking of remastering next year, I actually have a character for you we need to talk about, just to see how you do.
Yes, absolutely.
So you're like Lewis, you're going to have to watch Foxbury.
Yes. So you've said that is on my I'm going to get fat this winter playlist.
Okay.
Yeah, that's on my
I love that. Well, peep the character I told you about, and we'll see how you do.
No,
I have every faith it's going to be perfect, because the audition you sent me before, I'm like, okay, listen, I have a character for you.
Yeah, because you sent me that audition. I was like, I sound like a 17-year-old girl from the Valley, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I was like, thank you. Exactly. I'm gonna politely decline. This is a much more serious role. And
it's fine. That's just kind of how it goes, though, right? You send, you're like, God, you're really good, but you're not right for this person. Yeah. And then there's the voice actors. You're like I already have who I want, and will only give Nathan to. Nathan is my heart and soul. And I've already reached out to that person and said, you need to watch my series. You need to study this character, and you need to send me some lines.
Yeah.
Because you have to understand this character is the heart and soul of this series, and it has to be right. It's the same person that I've sent other characters where it was like, this has to be perfect. And I know they'll do it. So I'm excited. So that happened with you. I was like, okay, listen, I have a character for you. But anyway, so I don't remember where I was going with all that. So Machinima Magazine, we're able to bring all that together. So the first issue was really me. Oh, bless Oak Sim Studios, bless his heart. I reached out, I said, friend, will you help me? He was like, what do you want me to do? I was like, it could be one page. Just, you're brilliant, please. So he had his one thing. He came on board. Mm-hmm. April Dark reached out to her. I was like, hey, you're really good over here. I've seen your work. Would you be interested? I know you're really busy. And she was like, yeah, I'll do it. So I was like, cool. So she had an article. I think it was might have been, were you on issue 1? You came on issue 2.
I came on issue 2.
You came on issue 2.
I knew there was a first issue, just because from my role at the SimStep magazine, I am so far in the background. I asked for that though.
Yeah.
I'm a marketing consultant. So if somebody needs marketing questions, I'm your person. I can't spell on a good day, so I can't be a proofreader. I'm not a writer. I'm not any of this stuff, but I can point you and how to get the most engagement. And Sammy was like, that's all we need. And I'm like, perfect.
Great.
And then I think you reached out to me.
I did, because I saw your interview with Sam. I was like, hey. Stephanie.
Yeah.
And then you're so far in the background, I didn't even know you were already would.
But again, I do that on purpose. Right? I want to stay as far in the background. You reached out to me. And they were like, yeah, for sure. And I'm like, cool. Because Sammy had talked about you, because when I was brought on, I was talking about ideas, and I said, Sims is being used a lot for mental health. Let's focus in on it. She's like, oh, I know this amazing simmer. It's the mom cave. And she said exactly. I was like,
just like her.
Yeah. I can play Sammy in any Lifetime original movie. So I was like, oh, cool. And then I saw your Machinimas and stuff. And I was like, and then I was learning Machinimas, and I was like, cool. And then I got casted in a couple, and I was like, oh, this is actually fun. I love voice acting. I've done a lot of things in my life. Voice acting is definitely my favorite. And then you reached out to me, and then I reached back out to you.
Yeah.
Cause then I'm like, I know some creators now, because we've now crossed paths. I would say OMG Sims and, My Boy 1991, I would consider them very close friends. I talk to them more than I talk to my actual family anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
My Sims friends. Yeah.
My Sims friends. I talk to them all the time. They've gotten me through some dark spots. So
yep, same.
And then I was like, you're like, yeah, do you want to put an ad in there? I was like, yeah, I do. I want to get some voice acting credits behind my name. But yeah, no, I'm very excited. I'm very excited to be part of this magazine. I will try to, fulfill my assignments on time.
You're a star. I have to say, so we had the first issue. I had a couple people helping me, and then I literally did the rest. I went from stressing out because I was writing two things to writing. I think I wrote 6 or 7 things in the first issue, and worked, and was taking care of my newborn grandson, and everything else was unraveling, and I was having surgery, and the deadline was coming up, and it was a wreck. It was just a whole wreck. And I have to full transparency, I reached out to Sam as I was like, listen, we need to figure something out, because I'm stressed out here. Some things at work are also getting really busy there as well. So that's going to change for me. And she was like, well, I'm surprised you didn't reach out sooner. I was like, well, that's just kind of me. Like, I'm going to try and do it all on my own before I ask for help. But now we have this team, and issue 2 was the start, and I'm really excited going forward because now it's expanded, right?
Yeah.
Now I really only have to write maybe a couple things, and that's it. I mean, I might be reaching out to some to say, hey, can you own this one? Because it's really easy, Stassi.
Yep. As long
really
as,
easy
as long
to do.
As spell check is not required.
I got you.
Yes, please.
Grammarly is your best friend. Grammarly, that's it. Pull up Grammarly, it's your best friend. Yep. Because that's what I'm going to do. Now I can focus on people uploading their articles. I'll pull it into Grammarly and edit it. Mm-hmm. I just don't have time to write it and think of it and reach out to people. And it's just, and keep reaching out and get everything coordinated. I just don't have time anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to have time to do that and run a magazine and everything else I'm doing, because I came to the point where I was like, first of all, my mental health was suffering again. I was like, okay, listen, not because of the magazine, it was just the magazine and everything else that was going on. And I was like, okay, here's the thing. I started doing this because I was healing my mental health, and this was a positive distraction. I'm not going to continue to do this, being any of it, if the mental health is going to unravel. And so I was really honest with some good friends of mine. They called me out on it. They were like, you're not quitting. First of all, you need a break. Second of all, you don't let this other stuff over here unravel you, because it's just noise. I was like, well, that's true. I'm just going to let that be what it is. And then just chill out, girl. So, having these friends to be like that and encourage you along the way. And then I reached out to Sammy. So now we have this phenomenal team, and I'm excited about the magazine because now I can really lead the best I can. And then I have backup to say, I'm going to need your help with this. Sammy's I don't know, talk about not sleeping. She's phenomenal.
She never sleeps. She is up at any hour of the day. She's 6 hours. Well, she's 9 hours ahead of you. She's 6 hours ahead of me. And I'm just like, it's like 2 a.m. and you're responding.
Oak is so funny because Oak doesn't sleep either. And he and I are constantly talking on Discord. And he's like, wait a minute. Isn't it like 4 a.m. there? I'm like, mind your business. I can't sleep. Okay. I love Oak. Anyway, so having those friends has really helped. And now we have this magazine because this was something the community needed. And, there's, like I said, there can be a lot of noise about things like this because people can feel like, well, I wasn't mentioned here, or I wasn't, it's not this, or you don't have this, or you don't have that. And what I want to say to everybody is we're doing our best. We are doing our best. We are going to do our best every month to do what we can at that moment. And I also want to challenge everyone to say the invitation has been there since before the magazine published. If I had a penny for every time I posted, hey, if you want to be featured, here's my email, here's my DM, here's my Discord, reach out to me and we will get you plugged in. And the people who reach out, they are the ones that get first dibs on the sections, because if they're going to reach out to me and say, I really want this, I'm going to say, then come on over. I don't care if you have 1 subscriber. Yep. I don't care if you have never published a Machinima, or you published a Machinima where all the roofs are down and it was glitchy as heck, but you hit send. I'm going to shout you from the rooftops because you hit send, and you are just as valid as the person that's been doing this for, 10 years who has 10,000 subscribers.
No, I absolutely.
And that's at the core of what we're going to do with that magazine.
No, I'm so excited to see it. The second issue is coming out
the 15th?
The 15th. I was like, what day is it today? It's the 7th. I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see the next couple issues. I know I've got a couple interviews lined up.
Excited
for December and January. I'm gonna do that, but I got a couple questions for you, and then we'll let you go on your merry way because I know you got the full day ahead of you. What advice? I know you've given a lot of advice. Like this is like the best. This is a TED Talk right here on how to create a machinima. But what advice would you give to somebody? They just bought The Sims and they want to start making machinimas. What would you tell them?
I would tell them to pause.
Okay.
And why I would ask them to pause is that machinimas are a lot of work. So just pause for a minute and find your style. And sometimes you're going to find your style in other creators, but don't compare yourself to them ever, because that's not healthy for you. And it's not healthy for them. But just pause for a minute and study what is it you want? The second thing I would say is then sit down and write. Just don't worry about any of it. And I don't remember, it might have been Edgar Allan Poe. I don't know. Don't quote me. I don't know who said this, but there's this historically well-known author who was asked this question, and their answer was, just sit down and write. Sit down and write. Just write. Just brain dump everything. You're probably only going to use a fraction of it, but just write and let the story unfold in your head. Then plan.
Yes.
And then plan, and then sit down and plan. I'm big on spreadsheets. I get stuff for it all the time. So I'm very visual. I have to see it in front of me, but sit down and figure out, what do you need? You're going to need characters. You're going to need custom content. So you absolutely have to be comfortable with custom content in your game. I suppose that you can make machinimas without it, but it's going to be really hard.
You need
so
poses.
You have to decide, so you have to learn the basics. That's the other thing. You have to learn Tool by Twisted Mexi, learn MC Command Center, learn it, master it, and play. Get just a few handful of poses. All you have to do is search on YouTube, Sims 4 animations that's all. And then just download stuff. If you can support people on Patreon, always do that. Always give credits in the description. I have a list. I have all kind of stuff. But then play with it and learn how to use the technology, and then ask someone who's doing it to come alongside and support you. I have people reach out all the time, and it's always a yes from me. Ask for feedback, but then make something short. Don't shoot for a 30-minute machinima, because that's going to take you upwards of 60 hours or more because you're learning. Backing up, you also need an editing software that you're comfortable with. So it make it as simple as possible. Unless you already know how to use Premiere Pro or something more complex, jump into something like I started with Movavi, or just something simple. Watch all of the YouTube videos you can and learn how to use your technology first. And then you have to find your music. So be careful with the music you use on YouTube. Always read the description on how to use it, because some have some pretty specific instructions. If you can, Epidemic Sound is great, and it's very affordable, and it's never had a problem with it. Anyway, so now you've planned, you have your songs, let the music inspire you. And then do something very short. Shoot for like a 5, maybe 10-minute machinima to start. That's it. Starts very small. Don't obsess on the details. Get it to where you're looking at it. And this is the advice to carry with you 3 years down the road, when, you have thousands of subscribers and, people are your machinima famous, right? Your machinima is the most watched machinima out there. Do it for you, because you're going to get dislikes. You're going to get people out there who you're going to be like, I didn't get that many views, or it doesn't matter how many views you get. Everybody feels that. And so it doesn't matter. Make it for yourself. So then sit down the first time, look at that product and be like, I did it. I did it. And hit send, upload it, and then go from there. So that's what I would say to everybody. Just start small, plan, and just write. Get your story in front of you first. Whatever inspires you. Music inspires me. That's what inspires 99.9% of my scenes. And then make lists and just keep everything organized so that you know where to go. But I think if you heard nothing else, never compare yourself to other creators. Never. Admire them, be inspired by them, but don't compare yourself. So Daisy is this wonderful human person. Love her content. She's 18 plus. Love her content. It's done very well. It's done very tastefully. I mean, by my standards, not that others aren't, but for me, the style works for me. it's just gorgeous how she does her reshade and her editing and the music and just her shots, all of it. She's my biggest inspiration for how I make my series, but I don't compare myself to her because I'm not her. She has her viewers and her community. I'm not going to try to wedge myself in there and try and get that for myself because I'm one of her fans. And it's like, I'm just going to watch her and admire her and be like, you're awesome. And anyway, so don't compare yourself to others.
That is amazing advice. The reason I like to ask this question now, for storyteller to storyteller, we're two different types of storytellers.
Yeah.
I have definitely put a lot of thought into turning Rose Chronicles into Machinima. A, don't have the knowledge how to do that. B, don't have time to do that. One chapter, start to finish, to writing, down to clothing, down to photos, down to editing, takes about 10 hours. It's an hour a photo, right? So it takes a long time. But I've sat and I've thought about the same thing. I'm like, why am I doing this? Mm-hmm. And my fiance is like, you doing it for you? I'm like, I'm doing it for me. He's like, then you got it, kid. Just do it for you.
Yeah.
Right. And like, I try not to compare myself because apples to oranges that's literally marketing 101. Don't ever compare yourself to somebody else because you don't know the moving factors that they're able to do versus that you can't. And you're two different people.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yep.
I live with a schedule. I live on my schedule. Anything deviates from my schedule, I freak out because it's my schedule. Mm-hmm. I have days set aside so I can do all my sim stuff. And then I have the rest of my days dedicated to family and friends to ensure that I can maintain all the relationships. And then I have a little me time like wedged in there. At this point, Sims time is now my me time.
Right.
Because I enjoy it. Right. So I think best advice to anybody listening is listen to the Mom Cave. She's amazing. This was an amazing interview where we got to learn a little bit more about her projects and, what kind of goes into making a machinima, because I think people just think it takes like 6 hours to put it together, wrap a bow on it, and you're good to go. And that is the furthest thing from the truth. And I'm really happy that machinimas are now getting a spot in the sun because, again, I went months in this community, I didn't even know what it was, let alone to the extent to like how many there were. I only thought like even like a couple months ago that there was like 100 max. There's thousands of machinimas out there in all different languages. So, please go check.
It's huge.
Yeah.
And not just Sims.
No, there's tons.
Not just Sims. There's other engines, and we're trying to partner with a company, another, I say trying because it's a little hard to communicate, but we're trying to work with another group who they just do voice and they just do non-Sims, but yeah, they're all over the place. Can I add something?
For sure.
I also stream on Twitch.
Okay.
So I'm creating challenges. So I write challenges. I've written the 100 baby challenge. So it's 100 babies and the 100 bay challenge because why not? And it's rags to riches, and it's just a whole mess. So I started that, the challenges, and there's another one coming. But what I want to share is that on Mondays, when I can add a Monday to my streaming schedule, I do something called Machinima Life Live. And what I do is I actually film a scene live. Before it was a tutorial and that was just too confusing. But what I'm doing is I'm filming live. Like I'm just going through my whole filming process live so people can see it in action and ask questions. So you can look for me on Twitch. I'm going to try to start doing that a little bit more after this next holiday coming up for us maybe in December, and try doing that more and actually filming live. I'll also be editing that and putting it on my YouTube channel. So we'll have those two on there as well. But you'll be able to watch the process live, or be able to watch what a machinimator is going through. Because what people don't realize is that we are taking probably about sometimes 2 or more hours of footage and editing it down to maybe 4 to 10 minutes, well, or more, or more footage, depending on how many recording sessions I have, editing it down to a 3 to 10 minute scene, recoloring by hand. Sometimes for me, I'll recolor the whole thing, but I'll also recolor every clip by hand, typing in the dialogue or editing the voice that goes into it to make all of the audio consistent. We're doing that. And that takes sometimes days to weeks for one scene. And so to put your pressure on yourself to say, I'm used to making this content and it takes me, 4 or 5 hours. And now I'm going to try Machinima. Mm-hmm. And oh my God, I'm 4 or 5 hours in and I haven't even started filming it. It's completely different. It's a whole different process. Whole different process.
Yeah. Like to me, it's amazing. Like seeing these finished projects and just being like, oh my God, like you're able to not only just make this in The Sims, but like it looks like a movie. The music's good. The sound editing is good. The editing's good. The voice actors are good, right? Like it's just, it's incredible. I think this leads me to my final question, and a good segue is, where can we find all your amazing work?
Thank you. Well, you can find me on YouTube at The Mom Cave. I might be changed. I've changed my creative name to TMC Creative, and eventually we'll change my channel name to that too at some point. I got to work around that thing. People know me as The Mom Cave, so I got to figure that out. So YouTube, the main thing is YouTube, The Mom Cave. You can watch The Curse, Foxbury, and The Curse Season 2 as well. Those are scripted. You can watch my voice series that are firing up as well on there. And then what's coming. And you can catch me on Twitch at the.momcave is my Twitch handle. You can catch me there usually on Fridays. I won't be usually on Fridays. Some Fridays I'm off if I'm going to be up visiting my daughter and my little grandbaby, who's the cutest little chunky thing ever. So I'm going to go visit them. But I stream on Fridays. The Cave Trolls is the name that my community named themselves that. I didn't name them that. So they are the Cave Trolls, and we wreak havoc. We have a lot of fun together. It's an open, affirming, fun time. It's just time with friends. It's how I decompress after the week. You can find me on Twitter at the Mom Cave 1. That is where I love to connect with people and support people and just kind of meet new friends. You can email me at tmc.simmedup@gmail.com. If you want to be featured in the magazine, you can reach out to Stassi. You can reach out to myself. Again, if you are any part of the Machinima community, if you make animations, if you are a voice talent, if you are a director, if you are an aspiring director, if you want to create a tutorial just one time and have it thrown in there for Machinimas, reach out to us, because this is a magazine by the community and for the community. So this isn't about us being famous or making anyone famous. This is about you. And then, of course, simmedup.uk for right now, where you can find Machinima Magazine, and the next issue will come out on November 15th. And I don't know, I think I'm on Instagram too, right?
Yeah, you're on Instagram. That's how we do most of our communication.
That's right. That's where I find you. I'm also on Discord. If you want to know my Instagram, ask Stassi, because she'll put it in the comments down below.
I think I'm definitely going to put the link there. I think it's the Mom Cave. I'm pretty sure.
It's the _Mom Cave.
I think it's the _Mom Cave. Yeah.
I think so. I don't know. I'm on Facebook, but don't look for me there because I don't ever get on Facebook. I hate Facebook.
Who likes Facebook anymore? Facebook is like just
deleted my first. Yeah, I deleted it. I hate it.
It's for really it's for old people who are angry and businesses. That's who Facebook's for.
I'm an old person who's not angry. No, I'm not old. I don't want to be ageist, but I definitely don't. I just don't like them. Don't like. It's just not my vibe. I prefer Twitter. Twitter can be it can be a thing, and that things are only as toxic as you allow them to be. So I'm perfectly fine with moving on from maybe people who might be using it in ways that aren't helpful for me. So perfectly fine with that. But yeah, that's where you can find me. And I hope you do find me. I hope you do watch The Curse. Now, if you watch The Curse, you can always start with season 2. But if you're going to start anywhere and you don't want to start all the way at season 1, which I highly recommend because you're going to miss some of the backstory. You can start with Foxbury because it's going to be important. But even if you don't, I try to put some montages and things in there for people who start with the series going forward. So you can always start with season 2 and, some other things coming up. And again, I'm excited to partner with Mincer Entertainment to remaster all of my scripted Curse Universe series and some other things going forward. There will be more voice coming up on my channel. So
you have so many you're welcome. You have so many amazing things coming down the pipeline. I cannot wait to see them all. You're an amazing person, an amazing part of this community. And I'm so excited to continue to watch you grow. I'm a new kid on the block, but I'm here to stay. And I'm very happy that our paths have crossed.
Likewise, Stassi. Well, thank you for taking the time to chat with me today. Thank you for all your hard work on this magazine project. I couldn't do it without y'all. And yeah, I'm excited to see these series that you're popping up in, and I'll be sliding into that DM because you have to watch Foxbury.
Anytime you can slide into my DMs. I feel like that's just like a dirty phrase. I love it.
It is. It is.
Yes. Anyways, it has been an absolute pleasure. Again, thank you. Thank you for taking time as well. You're a busy lady. I didn't know how busy you were. The fact that I was able to get you this morning is very nice. So thank you so much. And
you're welcome.
Please, everybody, the links are going to be below. Please follow my girl. She's amazing. She's literally changing the Machinima game. So
thank you.
Round of applause. For anybody listening to the podcast, I'm literally going around with a round of applause because I'm cheesy like that. Stassi. Anyways, have a great rest of your day, okay?
All right. Thank you.
Thanks.